Welcome to the deep dive, where we take something you're really interested in and we kind of pull it apart, look at all the pieces and see what we can find. Today, it's all about a detailed review of an album called Cosmic Cowboy by Johnny Greenlight.
Yeah, so our mission, if you will, is to really get into the head of this reviewer. What did they think about the album story, the way the music works, the bigger picture stuff? And we're going to do that by following their thoughts track by track to see the journey they went on.
Exactly. And this review is pretty cool because it gives us both like a really close look at each individual song and then pulls back and looks at how they all connect together to make the whole album experience, Okay, so here's the reviewer's take on the first track, Getaway. Johnny Greenlight Getaway Track 1 review. Right from the start, Getaway has this vibe, like restless, dusty, that feeling of wanting something more. And the reviewer says it really sets the scene for the whole Cosmic Cowboy story, this journey that's all about being unhappy with where you are and needing to change it. Instrumentation and sound. The song has this central electric guitar riff that just keeps going. It's driving, but also kind of sad at the same time, and it holds the whole thing together. The sound is a mix of alt country and that old southern rock vibe. The verses have these clean guitars with a bit of reverb. Then the choruses get more raw and urgent. The bass and drums are solid, keeping the beat going without being too flashy. The arrangement is really well thought out, going from these quieter verses to that big anthemic chorus. And the guitar solo, oh man, it's melodic and fits the mood perfectly. Nothing too showy, just pure feeling. The production is really clean. You can hear each instrument clearly, but it still feels natural, like it's being played live. And that fade out with the sounds of nature, maybe birds, really nice touch. It's like it's bringing that desire for escape back down to earth. All right, now onto the lyrics. Lyrics and vocals. Lyrically, Getaway is all about feeling trapped. It talks about a quiet, secluded place, dreaming on the valley floor, and this feeling of being an older man, being stuck in a rut. And then bam, the chorus hits you with, I've got to get away. But then there's this tension because the next line is, I know I shouldn't stray. So you get the sense that something's holding the narrator back, maybe responsibilities, maybe fear. And then there's this line, second guess the themes of myself, which is about this internal struggle, questioning who you are and the good and bad parts of yourself. The vocals on this track are spot on. You can hear the weariness, but also this determination, like they really mean what they're singing about. Getaway is a great opener. It tells you right away what this guy's all about. He needs to escape from his current life and maybe deal with some stuff from his past. Musically, it's really well done, catchy, and it establishes Johnny Greenlight's sound, blending those rock and country elements to something new. It definitely makes you want to hear what happens next.
Man, the reviewer paints a pretty vivid picture of that opening track. Like you said, it really sets the scene, this feeling of being trapped and wanting to break free. But it seems like there's a lot more going on under the surface. And musically, I like how they pick up on that mix of familiar sounds, the alt country and southern rock stuff. Yeah. It kind of sets the stage for this character's journey, Okay, let's see what the reviewer thinks of the next track. Invincible. Johnny Greenlight, Invincible, track 2 review. So after that restless feeling of wanting to leave and get away, Invincible takes things in a different direction. It's more intense, a little chaotic, kind of like the immediate aftermath of actually making that decision to leave. Instrumentation and sound. The track starts with this spacey, almost otherworldly sound. It's like the cosmic part of the album title is coming through in the music. Then it kicks in with a driving rock groove. The guitars are heavier here, the bass is pulsing, and the drums are relentless, like they're pushing forward through all the chaos. You get these shifts between the verses and the choruses, with the choruses opening up and feeling more anthemic. They use layered vocals, especially at the beginning and in the choruses, and it gives it this haunting quality. The guitar solo fits perfectly, it's expressive, full of these sustained notes and melodic runs. The production is great, balancing those spacey elements with the heavier rock sound. And then that outro with the ambient sounds and feedback, it's like it's bringing us back to that feeling of internal turmoil. Lyrics and vocals. Lyrically, this one goes deeper into the character's head. The first lines, I'm searching for the things we seek, but the troubles spin me round, show us that even though he's left, he's still struggling. He feels lost and overwhelmed by whatever's bothering him. The song is a bit of a tug of war between how people see him and how he feels inside. You get lines like, everybody comes to me and try your best not to ever bring me down, which makes him sound strong and invincible, right? And then there's this line, Doesn't it ever occur to you that I may be in a trance? It's like he feels disconnected, misunderstood, maybe not even in control, even though he's trying to act tough. The vocals reflect this too. There's power in the choruses, but you can hear this rawness, almost a strain in his voice, like he's struggling to hold it all together. And the layered vocals, sometimes they sound supportive, but other times it's like they're competing voices inside his head. Let's see what the reviewer says overall. Overall critique. Invincible is a strong track. It picks up the energy from the first song and adds a layer of complexity. It shows us this guy isn't just running away, he's also fighting against whatever is holding him back. The music gets a little more psychedelic here, and that really reflects the turmoil inside his head. And what's really interesting is that the song doesn't portray escape as this simple solution. It's messy, it's a process, and that's what makes it so compelling. Okay, your turn. What does the reviewer think of Technicolor Dream?
Okay, yeah, you can really feel that shift the reviewer's talking about. It's not just a clean break, there's still all this stuff going on inside, and the music getting more layered and psychedelic. Yeah, that makes sense given what's happening with the character. All right, let's see what they say about Technicolor Dream. So after that feeling of defiance and invincible, Technicolor Dream is like the real liftoff for this Cosmic Cowboy. The struggle moves outward, it's about breaking free and taking a chance, even though there might be a price to pay. Instrumentation and sound. The song kicks off with this urgent energy, powerful drums, interlocking guitar riffs, a bit of a funk influence in there too. The bass line just drives the whole thing forward. It's straight up rock energy, more direct than the previous tracks, but still full of melody. It builds up to these huge choruses that just feel so liberating. There's a little pause before the guitar solo, and then, man, it just explodes with energy. Really impressive playing. The production is really crisp, every instrument punches through, and it just amplifies that feeling of moving forward. Lyrics and vocals. Lyrically, this is about actually leaving. The song starts with altered state of mind, and then you get the line, to corral the final frontier. Then it's clear, I have found my getaway, my adventure starts today. So he's gone, but the lyrics also contrast his internal state. Mind is covered in shrouds with the action of leaving, rise above these pillowed clouds. It's like he's physically escaping, but maybe his head isn't quite there yet. The chorus is this powerful mantra. Fly, Johnny, fly. You're going to fly on by. You know you'll fly so high. But then there's a twist. I want to run the universe. I run the universe. Don't you know it's going to be my curse? So even in this moment of freedom, there's this sense of danger, a possible downside. Then you get the Major Tom reference. The song talks about how he taught me how to fly, taught me not to give a damn, taught me to take flight. It's directly tying this journey to those classic cosmic rock stories, you know? And there's conflict too. He wants to be in space, the ground above my head, but also yearns for my homestead. It's like he's torn between these two desires. And the way the song describes the experience as a Technicolor dream, focusing on the spaces in between, adds to that feeling of surreality, like maybe it's all an illusion. Overall critique. The reviewer calls this a masterstroke in the storytelling, and I agree. It's where the potential energy of the first two tracks becomes action. Musically, it's pure rock energy, really well done. And the lyrics are packed with meaning, the escape, the Major Tom influence, the idea of freedom having a dark side. Plus, you learn more about the character, his inspirations, and his conflicts. Definitely a key track on the album.
Yeah, I see why the reviewer calls it a masterstroke. It's like everything accelerates here. He's leaving, and the cosmic part of the story is really coming into focus with those Major Tom references. But it's interesting that even with all this freedom, there's that hint of danger, the possibility that it might not all be sunshine and rainbows. It makes you wonder what's coming next. What about the title track, Cosmic Cowboy? What does the reviewer think? So this is it, the title track. It kind of has to define what the whole album is about, and I think it does a great job. It slows things down after the energy of Technicolor Dream, focusing on those final moments before liftoff and the transformation into the Cosmic Cowboy. Instrumentation and sound. It starts with this thoughtful piano melody, totally different from the rock of the previous song. It sets a more introspective, cinematic tone, you know, and it builds gradually, adding atmospheric synths, ambient sounds, maybe some distant ethereal guitar. It really creates a sense of vastness and anticipation, just like lyrics talk about the cosmic canopy. The bass and drums are subtle here, adding texture rather than driving the beat. The production emphasizes space, using reverb and delay to create this feeling of depth and isolation. And then there's the countdown, building the tension with sound effects, maybe launch sounds, radio chat, or static. It's really effective. Lyrics and vocals. The lyrics perfectly capture that moment of transition. He's looking at the bright lit tarmac, but his mind is already on where you'll be. It talks about the vast unknown, saying a last goodbye, and realizing that the future's now what the past will be. There's this great line, overcome with stagnant joy. It's like he's excited about the journey, but maybe also a little apprehensive about leaving everything behind. The vocals are restrained, but you can hear the emotion, a mix of awe and maybe some sadness. Then it shifts to spoken word for the countdown, 10, 9, 8. It's so intense, like it's happening in real time. And then now you're a cosmic cowboy. He's embraced this new identity. And then liftoff. The song ends with this really interesting line, maybe over a distorted radio or something. We lost him. It's ambiguous, right? Did they lose contact? Or is it about the old him, the person he left behind, being gone forever? It makes you think. Overall critique. The reviewer says it's exceptionally well executed, and I think they're right. The shift from the rock energy to this more atmospheric sound is really powerful. The music creates this amazing sense of anticipation, and the lyrics capture all the emotions of this big decision. And that ending with the countdown and the final line is brilliant storytelling. It leaves you wanting more.
Wow, yeah, the reviewer's right. It's like a movie scene set to music. That shift in mood, the build-up to the launch, the sound effects, and then that last line, we lost him, it's so haunting. Johnny Greenlight, Peak, Track 5 review. So Peak takes us in a totally different direction. It's all about a metaphysical experience, a big realization that changes everything for the Cosmic Cowboy. Instrumentation and sound. The song kicks off with this driving, almost hypnotic guitar riff that just keeps going. With the solid bass and drums, it creates this feeling of relentless movement, kind of like being lost in space or in a deep meditative state. The sound is heavier and rawer than the title track, but not as energetic as Technicolor Dream. Then things change when the lyrics talk about reality is all but gone. The heavy instruments drop back, replaced by these spacey textures, reverb vocals, maybe synths, swirling guitars. It's like we're entering another dimension. The guitar solo fits perfectly. It's more about exploring this psychedelic soundscape than showing off. The production is clean, but it lets those atmospheric elements breathe, adding to that hypnotic feeling. Lyrics and vocals. Lyrically, this one is dense, man. It's all about change and realizing big things. The first lines, must find the answers I seek, I've hit my peak, show that the journey has reached a critical point. He's at the top, but now what? And he wants to open the door to the heavens and more. So it's clear he's searching for something spiritual, something beyond the everyday. And then you get these lines, reality is all but gone, guess I'm no longer John. That's a big deal, right? It's like he's shedding his old identity, becoming someone new. The vocals here are layered and echoey, capturing that feeling of detachment. Then things get really interesting. He talks about talking with an angel after hearing a rumble and then getting a nod. He moves on to talk with God.
And get this, God tells him, your problems are so small. Life's just a blink, a dream compared to the cosmic symphony. That changes everything, right? It puts everything into perspective. And after that, when the line, reality is all but gone, comes back, it feels different. Like maybe he's accepting this new reality instead of being scared of it. The last line, Johnny must say so long, is like the final goodbye to who he was before. The vocals in the verses are searching, a little weary but determined, and when he talks about those encounters, there's a sense of awe, maybe even surrender. Overall critique. Peak is essential to the story. It shifts from the physical journey to what's happening inside his head, this spiritual transformation. The hypnotic music sets the tone, and those shifts in sound really portray that altered reality. The lyrics are crucial, losing his old identity, those divine encounters, and that message about cosmic perspective. The reviewer says the song handles this heavy stuff without getting bogged down, and they're right, it's a turning point, a complete transformation. What about Cosmic Cowboy, Reprise? What happens after that big revelation?
Yeah, it's like the reviewer says, peak is where everything changes, both in the story and in the way the music sounds. It's pretty intense, all those encounters and that new perspective he gains. Okay, so the next one is Cosmic Cowboy Reprise. Let's see where we are after peak. Johnny Greenlight, Cosmic Cowboy Reprise, Track 6 review. Okay, so after the mind-blowing stuff in Peak, Cosmic Cowboy Reprise brings us back down to earth, but it's not a happy homecoming. It's like looking at the title track through this lens of experience and disillusionment, instrumentation and sound. The song uses elements from the original Cosmic Cowboy, but it twists them. It starts with this feeling of chaos and disorientation, maybe distorted echoes of the piano, harsh electronics, alarms, maybe even some aggressive guitar, just like the lyrics say. Skies are crashing down and fire all around. It really captures that feeling of a rough landing. Then when the lyrics talk about sitting in this dim lit room, the music becomes sparser, maybe a sadder version of the piano or some isolated synths. The rock energy is gone. It's all about introspection and exhaustion. It's not the same feeling of anticipation as the original. It's more confined, maybe even regretful. The production might sound like it's in a small space or far away, which is a contrast to the open feeling of the earlier space-themed tracks. It's smart how they use the same musical ideas but change them to show how different things are now. Lyrics and vocals. Lyrically, it's pretty clear what happened. He had a rough landing. The first lines are vivid, skies are crashing down, fire all around, sweat beads upon my face. And then you get this line, coming down from oh so high, which works on a few levels. He's back on Earth, but maybe also coming down from some kind of high. We also learn where he went. Mars just ain't that kind of place. And then another Bowie reference, these protein pills that fade away. Like Major Tom, the escape was maybe fueled by something external, and now it's wearing off. The Technicolor dream is over. Reality has set in. The last verse is really powerful. Sitting in this dim-lit room, looking back at the cosmic sea, it's like that vastness he was searching for is now just something he's watching from afar. And then the lines, time moves on at alarming speed, I'm lost but once was free. It's like the opposite of what he wanted in Getaway. He's lost in a different way now. The vocals probably reflect this, starting with panic and urgency, then becoming quieter, tired, disillusioned. Overall critique. The reviewer says this reprise is more than just a repeat. It's a crucial part of the story, showing us what happened after he achieved his goal. It's interesting how they point out the way the music uses earlier themes, but changes them to reflect this disillusionment. And that Bowie reference again, the protein pills, it adds to the idea that maybe the whole cosmic journey was a metaphor for some kind of altered state. Right, one last track, Beneath the Sky. Let's hear what the reviewer thinks.
Yeah, that reprise is definitely more than just a musical echo. It really twists the knife and shows that achieving your goals doesn't always lead to happiness. And the Bowie connection adds another layer to the whole thing. Okay, what about Beneath the Sky? How does the reviewer see the album ending? Johnny Greenlight, Beneath the Sky, track 7 review. Okay, so Beneath the Sky wraps up the whole Cosmic Cowboy story. It's like an epilogue looking back on everything that happened. Musically and thematically, it goes back to the beginning, bringing the journey full circle, but the character has changed because of what he's been through. Instrumentation and sound. The song starts gentler than the intensity of the reprise. It's got these clean, arpeggiated guitars, maybe some chorus or delay effects. It's a little melancholy, and it reminds me of the sound of Getaway. It's like he's back where he started, but things are different now. The bass and drums are subtle, supporting that contemplative mood. It builds gradually, which is pretty common for closing tracks. As we learn more about what he's going to do next, the music intensifies. The last part is this powerful rock section with big guitar solos, maybe layered. It's melodic, cathartic, like he's letting go of something, but it's also defiant, like he knows what's coming. The production is balanced, starting clear and atmospheric and ending with that big rock sound, which is a cool way to bookend the album. Lyrics and vocals. Lyrically, this is the resolution. He's back on Earth. The opening verse contrasts his departure, left with a sonic boom, with his return from the dark side of Moon. It emphasizes how far he's gone. The line, crashing down above the sky where time is standing still, could be about the physical descent or maybe the lingering effects of his experience. The most important part is this line. Johnny leaves. As John arrives back to this world, his Cosmic Cowboy identity is fading, and his old self is resurfacing. And he admits, my Technicolor dream is done, my pupils have unswirled. The fantasy is over. He's seeing reality clearly now. But here's the twist. The last verse talks about waking up with a head full of pain, finding comfort in simple things, drink some H2O, and then planning to do it more. He says, one more week of misery, just 5 more days, the weekend will near, and we'll do it again. It's like the whole Cosmic Cowboy thing is a metaphor for some kind of escape, maybe drugs, maybe something else, that he keeps doing to deal with his unhappy life. He gets a temporary high, but then he ends up back where he started, ready to do it all again. The vocals reflect this, starting tired and reflective, then gaining strength and resolve as he talks about repeating the cycle. Overall critique. The reviewer says it's a really effective ending. It closes the story, but leaves you feeling a little uneasy because of that cyclical element. The music going back to the style of the earlier tracks reinforces that idea of coming full circle. The lyrics are great, tying everything together and suggesting that this whole journey is a repeating pattern. The last rock section is interesting. It's not exactly triumphant, more like the inevitable build-up to the next escape. It's a thoughtful, maybe a bit sad, but musically satisfying ending. So what do you think? What did you get from reading all this?
Wow, listening to you go through all that, you really get a sense of the journey this reviewer went on with this album. From that initial need to escape through this transformative experience and then back down to earth. And it doesn't sound like a happy ending either.
Not really. What's really cool is how Johnny Greenlight uses the music to tell the story, like you said. That old country sound, the psychedelic stuff when he's in space, then back to those earlier sounds for the ending. It reflects that whole cyclical thing that the reviewer was talking about.
Yeah, and that's a big takeaway, isn't it? This idea of escaping as a repeating cycle. Makes you wonder if this Cosmic Cowboy thing is just a metaphor for how we try to escape from our own lives. And it raises the question of whether true escape is even possible.
Absolutely. And the reviewer pointed out a lot of details that make you think, like the Major Tom references, that ambiguous ending of the title track, the contrast in the reprise. There's a lot more going on in this album than just a space adventure.
And that final point about the cyclical nature of it all, ending with the protagonist ready to do it again, it really makes you think about the things we do to escape and whether they actually solve anything or just keep us on this endless loop.
So for you listening, think about that. What are your Cosmic Cowboy journeys? What are you trying to escape from? And what do you always end up returning to? And why? What's driving that cycle?
Hopefully this deep dive into Cosmic Cowboy has given you some new ways to think about the album and maybe even about those bigger questions of escape and return. Keep those suggestions coming for future deep dives. We really appreciate them.
Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.